Autodesk AutoCAD, working with blocks and pallets and symbols. If we want to make pallets, we need to know how to make symbols. So we're going to be doing a piping flow sheet symbols. On this sheet that we have here, there's grid lines in the back line showing us that each grid line is 1/8 of an inch from each one. So if I look at this gate valve that I want to do right here, it says that it's 2 lines across, 2 lines up, so it's 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch. So let me go ahead and make this drawing right here. Go over to AutoCAD. If I do a zoom all, you can see I've put a border in here just to help give myself perspective. So I do a line here. So I'm going to do 0.25 by 0.25 and come over here and do another 0.25 and then go C to close that shape up. I'm going to zoom in here so we can get a little better perspective on this. I issue a line command. I'm going to go from one corner to the other corner, putting a diagonal line in. Press the space bar to finish that, space bar again to repeat the line command, and I put my other one in, space bar to finish that. I select these 2 lines here, hit delete on my keyboard, bam, they're gone. I've made the first symbol. I'm going to take this symbol, copy it, and on this one, if I look over at my drawing, I'm going to make this globe valve right here. So on the globe valve, I need to fill that in with a solid, so I type in solid, and I go and trace around there just like we learned in the lesson on solids. I do that, and there it goes. Whoops, I missed one. Let me hit an undo on that. I'm going to right click, get out of that, tell it to undo what I just did by pressing Control Z. Let me try that one more time. Solid. I go from the bottom here to the top, over here. There we go. Get that bottom corner. That looks better. Okay, so now I've got 2 symbols drawn. I would recommend that you draw all the symbols first before doing the next step after this. So I'm going to go in and select this first symbol, and then I'm going to issue a block command. And on the block command, the first thing it asks for is the name, and this one was a gate valve. So I type in gate valve, and right now it's showing that its pick point for this symbol is located at 0, 0. If you watch the coordinates videos, you'll understand what that means. That means when I move this symbol in, my mouse will attach to this being at 0, 0. I'm going to do my own pick point here and go ahead and select it right there and get my pick point so that it's all set up here, and click OK. And then if I look, it's now all one solid piece with its own grip point, and that's its actual pick point, right? So now if I select the next one, there's all the individual parts and pieces. I type in block command, and the shortcut for it is B for block. I hit block command. I type in, this one is, I believe, a globe valve. Let's look. Globe valve. There we go. Type in the name for that one. Globe valve. There we go. Really important. Get my pick point. Click my pick point. And I go, there it is. So I now have 2 items saved on here. I'm going to hit Z for zoom, A for all. And so I can see that I'm starting to get my symbols put together here. If I type in the word insert, it'll actually bring up a box and it'll show me the different symbols that I'm making here. So I could insert them that way, but I want to be able to put them in a palette. In order to do them in a palette, I have to save this drawing. I click on Save. I'm going to save it inside my Fluid Power Pallets directory. This is going to be in a standard location. Don't put it on your thumb drive, because if you pull your thumb drive out, they're gone. It can't reference them. It has to come back to this point to pick them up. So I'm going to name this one Delete 2020. Well, that doesn't look very good. Let me take my cap locks off. Excuse me. So I go in there. Now I have my drawing saved. With my drawing saved, I can go into the View tab. I go down to this icon right here for Design Center. I click on Design Center and I tell it that I want to open. I want to open inside there. I want delete 2020. So evidently I'm going to go back in here, go Fluid Power Pallets, go in and look for delete 2020. There we go. Right here there's an icon that says blocks. I want to double click on blocks, and there are my two symbols that I've done. I'm going to click on the first symbol, hold down the shift key on my keyboard and click the last symbol. You're going to have a lot more in here than me. I click the first one, hold down the shift key, click the very last one. With them highlighted, all of them highlighted, I right click and I click on Create Tool Palette. There's my tool palette. I'm going to name my tool palette Delete 2020. There we go. Now that I'm have this done, I can close down my Design Center window, and if I click on any of these symbols now, they come in just like we're used to seeing off of pallets. Well, what about if I tell it that I want to do a new drawing? If I do a new drawing that has nothing at all to do with those, I can click on those. They're now accessible also in here because they've been saved. The only way that I can get them to go into the pallets is if I save them. So there we go. That's how we build symbols and build pallets.